to our one wild and precious lives. Today I'm here with Andrés Ortega, one of my 3 housemates. I thought it would be fun to reflect on what it's been like for him to live with a foreigner and for me to live with 3 Mexicans. Andrés was born in Tijuana and grew up in Celaya, a city in the state of Guanajuato in central Mexico. He has lived here in Guanajuato Capital, the capital of the same state, for the last 12 years. Andrés, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, how are you? It's very nice to meet you and to join here. Thank you for inviting me. Well, my professional life is focused mainly in governments. I audit Mexican institutions, governmental institutions, and I'm a specialist in politics also. Right now, I'm passionate about technology and also the activities within internet. So I feel it's pretty interesting that you start a podcast.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Long story, but my last landlord kind of fucked me over with the deposit. I feel like he was being a big jerk. My visa was about to expire, and he didn't want to give me back my deposit. So 1 month before my tourist visa, I was kind of pissed at him, or I decided that I needed to move out. But I also couldn't commit to more than a month in Mexico or in Guanajuato because I didn't yet know if they would grant me temporary residency. So I was looking for a room in a shared house that I could rent for a month and potentially longer.
Yeah.
Moises, one of our other housemates, reached out to me because I had posted on a Facebook group. He basically said, well, we're looking for a housemate. I said, okay, I wanna see the house. And of course, like the first thing you do in the year 2000, what's our year? 2022. Is you look at the person's Facebook profile.
Yeah.
And he only had this one profile picture.
Yeah.
And on this one profile picture, there were 3 people. So I didn't even know which one of the 3 he was. And then there was nothing, like I couldn't see anything else on it. Like, I don't know, maybe there is more to see. But at that point, we were not Facebook friends. So I was like, that is a little bit suspicious.
In this side of the story, we have this room. So we were like, well, someone must take that room, right?
Yeah.
So we got some other candidates. But they were just wrong, you know?
How could you tell that they were wrong?
I mean, this woman, well, likewise, Moises told me, there's this this woman that wants to enter here. I meet her, and suddenly she was like with his son and daughter.
Oh.
And she was like, "Is there some room? Because I think she were like an outlaw." You know?
An outlaw?
Yeah, like
what do you mean when you say that?
She was like running from someone, you know?
Oh.
She was on the escape.
Yeah.
So
how could you tell?
Because she looked in her face like sadness and she was the stress, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, I told her, I think this is not the place that you're looking for, you know? It was just wrong, yeah?
Yeah.
I was like, if she's so urged to look for something, there is also our stuff, which is in this house.
Yeah.
So something that we must prevent is that someone enter and can take our stuff, you know?
But how did you know I wouldn't do that?
Well, because you look like
innocent,
a trustful, a trustful person, and well, you can tell by looking in the face, you know, that you're not an urged person that must leave the country or something like that.
It's kind of funny because I didn't know if I had to leave the country after this 1 month. So,
but you were just like a straight teller, so that is trustful, you know.
Yeah.
Like, well, you were also pissed about your your other house renter.
Yeah.
Even though you were like, I want to do things right and no one understands me. And I was, okay, maybe she's the person that she must fit.
Yeah.
Because I like so to do things right,
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I think I'm not going to have communication problems with this person, right?
Yeah.
That's why when you came, I totally was convinced, The only thing that I noticed that you were concerned was about your dog, which you never brought in the conversation, but when we finished, you were like, and I can bring a dog plate in here, like giving some posts that you have a dog.
Oh, so Moises didn't tell you that I had a dog?
No, he never told me.
Oh, because he wrote me because he had seen my ad in the Facebook group.
Oh, yeah.
And the Facebook group, like my post prominently featured my dog. Like, I'm looking for a house where I can live with my dog, my large dog.
I never noticed.
So I assumed you just knew. That's why I didn't bring it up.
No, because I was really okay. I do like dogs. I'm okay with dogs living here. So I was like, it's pretty cool that we have animals or pets in house. Well, I also was excited about, because I never really have a dog for about, I don't know, 8 years, something like that.
Yeah.
So I also was excited about it. And when you were here, when you arrived, also
when I moved here, or when I met you the first time?
When you met, when I met you. Well, it was just like the straight line that I want this, we want that. It's okay to you, it's okay to me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's it.
Yeah. From my perspective, it was so funny because I had interacted with Moises online. And we were like talking about when can I come see the house or meet you or something. And he wasn't going to be there, but he said, oh, Andrés is here. I'll give you his number. So he gave me your phone number.
Yeah.
And then I think I wrote you.
Yeah.
And again, it's like I only had your first name. And then you were on my WhatsApp. And at that point, or at least I didn't see, like you did not have a profile picture on WhatsApp.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Now you have a profile picture on WhatsApp. But at that point, you had no profile picture. So I'm like, So there's two people. One of them has like no information whatsoever on their Facebook, and their profile picture is several people, so you can't tell who they are. And the other one has no profile picture on WhatsApp. Who does that? I'm like, I'm going to bring a weapon. The weapon of my choice is a screwdriver, and that's just because I don't have a knife sharpener, and I owned only one knife that wasn't a butter knife. And I had owned that knife. I had brought it from Guatemala, and you can't cut anything with it. So it's really completely useless. Yeah. It's the blue knife that's down there now.
It's cool because, well, it doesn't gonna be my weapon of choice, like a screwdriver. I don't want that. Maybe I'll choose like pepper spray.
Well, I don't own pepper spray. Yeah. I did own a screwdriver.
Yeah.
And I hid it well. Like a little side note, in Mexico I have to shop in the women's department if I want to find pants that fit me. And none of these pants have decent pockets. So you can't have pockets to fit your weapon into. You're supposed to bring your purse, but I hate purses. So I usually don't bring them. So it's really like, I don't know. You guys, you need to make pants in my size. They can be unisex. Where you can fit a weapon into your pocket.
Cairo pants.
Exactly. Yeah. The stupid screwdriver did not fit into my pocket. And I needed to put it in a location where I could pull it out immediately if I had to, right?
Yeah.
So I couldn't put it in a purse and then like open the purse and like look for the screwdriver in the purse. So I ended up just putting it in, not into the pocket, but just like here. Yeah. Between my thigh and my pants. And you wouldn't be able to tell that there was a screwdriver?
No, I wasn't able to tell.
Yeah, and then I was like, okay, because honestly, I believe I am faster and stronger than the average person. But just in case I was not, so like my first choice would be to run or fight.
Yeah.
With my bare hands. But just in case you had a knife, I wanted to be prepared.
Yes, I think my weapon of choice is my bare hands because I wasn't prepared at all, you know?
Yeah.
I was like...
you were very trusting. You just let me into your house.
Hi, welcome. You could take anything. There were several persons that also asked me, but I was also like, I'll give them a high price so they won't took the because I didn't want to be rude, but there aren't trustful persons, you know.
Yeah.
They're just people you know, but you know they're not trustful, you know.
Yeah.
Not because they were going to take your things, because I think that they're like gossip people.
Yeah.
So I also don't want like partying people. You
Yeah.
know, someone that went to like drinking here every
Yeah,
day and bringing people that we don't know, and you know, I just like a calm life. And well, that was my objective. Moises was like, we also cotorreamos, so
Yeah.
we also chat about it,
Yeah.
chat. How was it? And I'm like, she's a skinny girl. She's Austria. She had a dog. I think I also told him I think she's the one because well she's gringa. She's foreign.
Why is that an advantage in your eyes?
Because you don't want to mess with people, you know.
So
that's
you think
a good people. So yeah.
You believe Mexicans want to mess with people?
Not because Mexicans, because the context allow them to run to another state, another city. They know people. They know how we interact with each other. But with you, I know that you don't have that type of advantage. You know.
Oh, I didn't know people?
Yeah, you don't. Well, you do know people, but not from since you were born, you know. Mexican people have options that you don't have in a foreign country. Okay. You like a foreign, so that it's a cool thing because when you came, it's not like you're going to run to any place and hide, you know.
Oh, because, you thought I didn't have a place to hide.
Place to hide.
You trapped me here.
Yeah. Yeah, I trapped you here. Also, no, because even though I think like the only thing that it's going to happen is that you're not going to hide.
Yeah.
So that's a cool thing.
So just to make sure I'm understanding, when you say that Mexicans, for example, or a Mexican housemate would be able to hide.
Yeah.
You mean if they couldn't pay the rent, they could just leave and go
with their parents
live with their parents, for example.
Yeah. With a brother, with a friend of life, you know.
Yeah.
With their girlfriends.
Yeah.
And you like a foreign, take decisions, a good decision because it's only about you. Okay, so when you're not going to mess with your life in another country. With a dog, with there's too many involved that you're not going just to risk with a bad contract, you know.
Yeah.
Well, you listeners must know when she came, she was concerned about the deposit because she just have an experience, right?
Yeah.
So with that experience, I also tried to make you feel safe about it because that wasn't my intention, right?
So my experience was that I didn't get back my deposit, and the deposit was really high, and it wasn't about the money. It felt very personal at that point. And I think I was also just at a difficult, like in general, because I didn't know if I would get the residency or not. And that was stressful. I couldn't make plans beyond the date that my tourist visa would expire. And I only had like a little more than a month left. That was just like a background stressor that was just making every other little stressor more like stronger. I also I felt the experience with my previous landlord threatened the picture that I want to have of people. I want to believe that people are fundamentally doing the best they can.
Yeah.
It felt like this previous landlord
want to take advantage about it.
I felt he didn't do the best he could. But I want to, it is important to me as a person to keep believing that people are generally doing the best they can. That's just who I want to be in life. I want to be someone who believes that about people.
I do think that people can do their best. Here, I talked about Mexico because it's my context. I think you're gonna find people, well, not bad people, but the people that doesn't do their best within the other people. I think that, yeah, you're going to find bad people always, everywhere.
I just want to believe that they're the minority.
Yeah, and also you don't want to get face to face with someone like that. So the thing that I learned is to separate some of the identities. For instance, the body language is very important because you know when someone is lying to you. You know when someone is trying to allure you with a situation.
Yeah.
I think that there are types of persons that you can make a contract, and there are types of person that even when you get paid, you are like, there's something that felt wrong about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Maybe like landlords. I've also had like bad experience, but also I had very good ones.
Yeah.
You know? I have a landlord I lived with her in about 10 years. And, well, I really loved her, you know, like a mothership relationship. I really care for herself.
Yeah.
She also had, like, the nephews, the grandchildren. Well, we know the place, you know, all the... We were in a Callejon alley. I lived in an alley.
I've already defined Callejon on this podcast, so our listener will know.
I lived in a Callejon here in Guanajuato. It's pretty interesting because it's like the Bronx, you know? Like low people, and there's smoke with it, the bulbs.
Oh, the light bulbs?
The light bulbs.
Yeah.
They smoke them so they can get high, you know? And there's also like the gossip charity women. Like cleaning and sweeping the streets and things like that. But it's pretty cool because it's a context. You must know context.
Like that Callejon is the one de los Cinco Señores. Yeah, that's actually the Callejon right next to the Callejon I used to live in before I moved into this house. And I loved the Callejon. I just didn't like the noisiness of the neighborhood, but I really liked. Like, I loved the context. I loved, like, there were some neighbors who were, like, I don't know, it was really, I loved the fact how pedestrian it was. And, like, I made friends with a couple people because I, like, the one guy who always sold me the garrafones de agua. And then he carried them to my apartment, which was so nice, just like that. And he had a Saint Bernard. And so we talked about dogs. And he helped me when I moved here. He helped me carry my stuff to the moving truck, because the callejones here, they're like partly just a very narrow alley, but partly they're stairs.
Yeah.
So the moving van I had hired parked at Cerro del Cuarto, so higher up, because that you can't park in the street down below. ¿Cómo se llama?
For the listeners, Guanajuato City is like between mountains. So here in Guanajuato, we have like a little crib, like we call it, like in Spanish is the translation, the crib. It is like, how do you tell, between the mountains?
Like a valley?
Yeah, like a valley. So when you get to the callejon, there's a top and there's a bottom.
Yeah.
Okay. When you get like Amazon packages, they must park on the top or on the bottom.
Yeah.
In the top, it's very dangerous because there's the Cerro de Cuarto.
That is actually my favorite barrio in Guanajuato.
Yeah, but it's pretty dangerous because people just robbed you, you know? I received a call once of an Amazon packager.
Yeah.
And he told me like, hey, I was going to give you your package either so they were going to rob me. So I ran to my truck.
Yeah.
And I must escape Okay, and I was like, okay, but I need my package, man.
I was like, did he park at Cerro del Cuarto?
See, yes, and he was like, I ran, so please forgive me. I will deliver the package in another time, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man. I've also once I went up to the top.
To Cerro del Cuarto.
To the Cerro del Cuarto, and well, it felt pretty. I was pretty unsure that was going to happen to me. I walked to a store to feel safe.
Yeah.
Okay, because in the street, they were like some people, and they were like looking at me. They were like, this guy is a stranger. I look like a foreign, so they were like, hey, güerito, what are you doing here? And I went to the store so I can.
Güerito is what people is like
Blondie
or white person, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, I went to my house.
Yeah.
Later, right? But you must know that del Cerro del Cuarto, it was pretty dangerous, right?
I know every single Mexican person I have told that I like the Cerro del Cuarto has told me it is pretty dangerous.
Yeah. Also, I like the place that I lived because in this valley, we also can hear all the city. Yeah. It was pretty interesting because the acoustic of the terrain. Yeah. It was pretty cool. So I could hear also the concerts. Yeah. From the Alhóndiga de Granaditas. Yeah. They were okay. Alhóndiga de Granaditas is a famous place in here, and they give in the Cervantino festival. They give concerts, so you can hear from the top of my house. Yeah. There. Also, well, you can invite someone to have a beer, and you're going to have a great time because the view is amazing. Oh yeah, I love the view. I had never had such a good view before. It's really, really nice. In the night view, it's like all the valley. You can watch it, and it looks always bright, like all the lights. And in the morning, you could see the colors of the houses in the alley. And here it's very colorful, Yeah. They're like egg yellow, like roses red. They're just so colorful. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it is. I think this is the prettiest city I have lived in. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. It's pretty problematic since you have to walk at top of your callejon. You have to walk down to get. You can't park. Also, yeah, so it's a city. It's really like the center of Guanajuato is very pedestrian. There are tunnels underneath the city where the cars are, but the callejones themselves, there are no cars. So I think many people don't own cars, and yeah, so it's nice. Like I like that because I don't own a car. And I like leaving my house and having my dog off leash right from the doorstep. Yeah. And I can do that in the center. I can't do that here because now, like we're in Marfil. It's like the suburbs. It's a newer part of town, and it has been constructed for people with cars. There's a kind of a freeway very close to our house, and it doesn't feel safe to have my dog off leash there. Cars are going so fast, it doesn't even feel safe for me to cross the street. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I don't like about this part of town. It doesn't feel like Guanajuato anymore. No, this is a new part of the town. Yeah. We're trying here in Guanajuato to build a common city. The space in the center, it's over. And for you to grow as a city, you need car circulation first of all. You need the transit, like the ones that provide the stores, the little stores. Yeah. They must be like more productive, and you can do so. Yeah, you need delivery in a valley. Yeah. So when you grow as a city, we are growing about in our south. Yeah. We are trying to build like malls, like roads, open roads. We try to connect also to important cities. We're bringing also some kind of industries, so it must grow. But like you said, for a dog, if you just unleash her and she went to the high road, well, she's in her own right.
Yeah.
She must be. Well, she must know the place.
Yeah, yeah. So like the dogs, I think the dogs who grow up here, because I've seen free roaming dogs who don't cross the street, or they will bark at us from the other side on their sidewalk, but they know that they shouldn't step on the street. So it's very interesting. The dogs who grow up in this environment, I think they either get run over or they learn to avoid the roads. Yeah, the game hasn't grown up in this environment, so I'm not risking this. I'm curious. So you used to live in the center, and then you moved out to Marfil. Did you move because of your work?
I worked in the University of Guanajuato. So my work, my job was about 5 minutes.
From the center. Yeah.
I've also studied the master's degree. So in the same university. Yeah. So I've also like 5 minutes to my study hall. Yeah. It was pretty near. When I got a job here in the south, I've also looked for a place so I can walk. I really because I like to step to my work, to my job. Yeah. When I was in the center, I also didn't own a car. Yeah. Because you don't have it's just it's annoying to own a car in the center. Yeah. It's awful. So I used the trucks, the buses. The buses. I use the buses to get to my job, but it took about an hour, Yeah. And here in Guanajuato, well, an hour is an hour. In rush hour, I left that situation. Yeah. I moved near my job in here at the south of the city.
What are some of your favorite things about Guanajuato, either the center or the south?
Here in Mexico, the governmental things several times are bad because they're like bad quality. Well, here in Guanajuato, it's a student city. It's known for being a student city. Yeah, because it has a big university. Yeah, and so there's so much opportunities for students and for you to access to a good price and a fair price. Yeah. Because university supports many programs also. Yeah, that is something I've also liked about Guanajuato. It's interesting because when I came here from Guatemala, the university, like everything was online, so the students were not here. But while I was living in the center, the universities opened up again, and I could see the people change, the people in the streets. You could tell that groups of students were coming back because there were in-person classes again. And you could see them in little groups, like Thursday night, drunk in the street. Yeah. It was also like a stage in here. Yeah. You must live the student life because it's pretty cool. Everywhere student life is pretty cool. Either so, here in Guanajuato is pretty special. And since you live in a valley, you can walk towards everywhere. Yeah, so you don't have to worry about anyone drunk driving. Yeah, because, you're not going to be stepped by a car. Right, yeah. It is really pretty safe to be a student here. Yeah, to be a drunk student. Also, the parties were in the houses. So they organized like a big house, and also in the how do you say in the what? The water. The water containers. The on water the roof? Containers, they were filled with things called panditas. Panditas are not the gummy bears. No. It's the name of an alcoholic drink. Okay, so they put panditas in the water container of the house, so you can open the faucets and drink. Everyone can have. They were just like 5 garrafones of water, of consumable water, potable water. Yeah. They prepared with alcohol. Yeah. Cheap alcohol also. Yeah. And they put it in the water containers of the house. So you can open the faucet.
Oh, that sounds like fun. I would have liked that in my student days.
Yeah, I right now I think I couldn't take it.
Me neither, but so you need that phase in your life.
You need that phase in your life. With you, it has been also a different experience.
Mm-hmm. Have you learned anything new from living with me?
Well, many things, because living with you as a foreign people, not just like a friend, you also came as a foreign people. That's important because not also you were like a stranger, but also you have different education. How you say costumbres? Customs is in the
manners.
Ways. So when I met you, I was sure that I was going to get along because you live your simple life.
Mm-hmm.
So do I want to live it?
Yeah.
You know, like more as well, simple life.
Yeah.
That's it. So when you came, also I have expectativas. Expectations, that I could also practice my English, you know?
Oh, finally we're practicing your English.
Yeah.
Because up until now, I've forced all of you to only speak Spanish to me.
No, but I also realized that with you, I have communication in English, and I've also practiced my English. When you came, you told me that you wanted to speak Spanish.
I'm sorry.
No, it's cool because you practice also.
Yeah.
And I also feel the freedom I've also felt free to also speak in English and make myself clear. You know? So it's also cool to speak two languages in the same house.
Yeah.
Because we share in different ways. The meaning is always, well, it's better sometimes in English than in Spanish, or the vice versa.
That's so true, yeah.
So also we make communication cool because I have to make myself clear with you. I have to polish my language, you know. I have to be. When I told you like strange words, you was like, I don't understand, and I want to get the message.
Yeah.
And I realized also that I have be sharpened conversator, you know, because I have to give better messages with you.
Yeah.
Not because you don't understand, but because I realized that sometimes I have flaws in my conversation. Okay, if you understand the standard Spanish, is because I'm making myself clear. Yeah. It's also pretty cool that you don't know many things, because I also start like realizing that our culture is very rich in that sense. Yeah, because there's some things that only happen like here. I was amused the first time that I told you trancas, and you told me like, what is turancas? No, and I was like, no, trancas is like a short way to say tranquilo, and tranquilo is be calm. So, but that process, I never realized it till I talked to you, and I was like, oh, okay, there's like words here in context that I must explain. And sometimes that was an awesome situation, right? Also, well, the ways that you make friends, it's pretty cool too. When you brought your friends like Rodrigo here, it was pretty cool because we never bring people to cook things. We never used really the table.
Oh yeah, and now the table gets used.
Now the table gets used. So Well, that is pretty cool. We used also the chairs, the table. We start like, well, I also felt like Moises. He was pretty cool with like chatting with you.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And that felt also like a home, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
You also brought different things like the plants.
Yeah.
The
I have a lot of plants.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool because you gave life to, well, a place that we're
Yeah.
just professionals, you know? So we just worked
Yeah.
and get to our homes and we just chat sometimes. But right now we have plants, pets.
Yeah.
We use the
The table.
the table. It's now a comfy house. We need that touch, you know, because we just were like, well, using the house.
Mm-hmm.
Now we are enjoying it, you know. So that's pretty cool too. I don't know. It feels like the flow.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So it has been a pretty cool experience. I've also found it amazing that you have a dog.
Yeah.
Because I don't really analyze, but I get aware that you and your dog are like not the same person, but like very close life.
Yeah.
So intimate because, well, you must know your dog. Your dog also have this trust about you,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a different way to live life. Okay,
Yeah.
because you also put too much attention to the activities within your dog.
Too much?
Well, too much like. Well, I've never experienced that. You know.
Yeah.
My dog was just petting,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we just run. But you are close to her
Yeah.
because you know also the ways of their necessities.
Mm-hmm.
You take care of the education of the
Mm-hmm.
dog. The dog can be with you in any place.
Yeah.
And that's something that you must work.
Yeah.
So I think that you have a close interest in life.
Yeah.
With how is it, ser vivo?
Living beings.
A living being.
Yeah.
Because communication must be different. You know,
Yeah.
we're just used to communicate within the words.
Yeah.
But also the body language and the silent language, the little messages are important with with a being, with a living being. So to know a dog like that, well, it's pretty amazing too.
Yeah.
You must work that. I don't think I have that bond with a dog, and it could be pretty interesting to know.
Yeah, you need to put in the work to build that kind of bond.
Because it's not just a bond like with a dog.
Yeah.
But with
an individual.
Yeah, with an individual. Because I look at you and your dog, and you also know the emotions. That she's feeling. Also, she knows the emotions that you're feeling. So it's been pretty interesting to know someone so close with the dog.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, currently she's my best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for me, I think living with you all, I've definitely spoken much more Spanish.
Yeah.
Which is so helpful and so useful, and I'm so happy. It's been so nice to actually use Spanish every day. Like, even if sometimes it's just to say good morning or have a nice day or like there's coffee.
And you know, you've also I felt you like a little bit easier in the Spanish. Within here in the house, we also experience different things like privacy conversations, right? Like I ask you for an advice, and we get that chance to interact with it also in other themes, other type of conversations that Also, I think that part of advising, it's pretty cool because we also known in these different ways of managing the situations. I've also feel like an enlightenment, you know?
Yeah.
That's cool because when I talk to you as like a person that do different ways, I've also have experienced new jobs, right?
Yeah.
Listeners must know that I started a job But also because I talked with her and I was like, hey, what do you think about it? Because I want to get a different point of view from a Mexican situation. What do you think? How is it in your life? And also that felt like, okay, I do want to do this new job because I want to, just do it,
Yeah, and
just get experience.
That was just last night.
Yeah.
He was bartending.
Yeah, and I tried. I like it so much. It was a cool experience. So much work, but it's work. Yeah, you must do it. I managed to do it the complete job. It was pretty intense and I felt pretty good. But
I felt like you had already kind of said that you were going to do it, but then when it was time to actually leave the house, you were not sure anymore if you actually wanted to do that, or if that maybe it felt like you were making the decision if for the rest of your life you were going to be a bartender or not. And I just said, well, go for one, like just check it out, and then you'd never have to go back if you don't like it.
Yeah, go for it. And it was pretty cool night. I really liked the job because, it was like pretty intense and I needed a little of intensity of my life.
Yeah.
It was like being in the other side of the party because you go to a club and you just go to party. Now you are the one that you're hosting the party.
Yeah.
Well, it's something that I don't know if I want to do again, but it's something that I know I can do for sure.
Yeah, it's like you now know that you're not only good with computers.
Yeah.
You can do all kinds of things.
Yeah. It's something that I would do maybe in another country because there's also a better payment about it. In here, it's just like, Yeah, But there's also this rush into work that, your body, I don't know, you must be...
Like 8 hours non-stop being on your feet and not having time to stop and drink a glass of water. And he got home when I was taking game out for the first time in the morning.
Good morning and good night. Yeah, it was a new experience.
Yeah. Well, let me just say before we wrap it up, I also feel like I'm really grateful that I've lived in this house, and I've learned a lot from conversations with you and Moises, not so much with Pepe because he has a girlfriend and he's often off somewhere else.
That's girlfriends do.
That's what girlfriends will do to you, we all know.
Yeah. What you must tell me. I got this interview with you, but I must interview you too.
Of course.
Yeah. What do you think about us?
When I moved, that was just a difficult moment in my personal life because of that visa insecurity. So I felt like I couldn't make plans beyond my visa. My tourist visa that I was on was going to expire at some point in May. And I felt this need to move houses at the beginning of April. But this background stressor of not knowing whether I would be able to even stay in Mexico at all. I only in retrospect, now that I have the 4-year residency in Mexico and that this weight is off my shoulders, only now do I realize how stressful that made everything else feel, because it was constantly there in the background. It was just this thing that was unresolved and that I had no power over because I had to wait for the appointment and for the decision. And, and I think that also made me more anxious than I realized in the moment. I'm not generally an anxious person, but I think at that I just was because of that. And because of the landlord situation in my old place.
Give me a break, life.
Yeah, right. And then I came here. I thought I may only be able to stay for a month because then I might be deported or I might have to leave or God knows what, because they may say, no, you don't get the visa.
We're coming for you.
Exactly. And so Andrés told me that there was 1 month rent deposit, and I was like, man, so I may end up paying 2 months and only staying 1. I just did not want to be screwed over again. And at this point because of that landlord experience, I was like, I don't know if I can trust people. I'm Austrian, so I have my cosquillosa. Quisquillosa. I'm strange in my own way, very particular. So I had this plan. I was like, deposits are for damage to houses. So, like, the definition of a deposit is that you use it to repair the damages the tenant has done to the space. So you are not supposed to use it for anything else. So I had already brought half my stuff to the house when I came with my plan, and I had already written an agreement that said the deposit was going to go into an envelope, and the envelope was going to go in the fridge. And the day I was going to leave, I was going to take the envelope with me. And then Andrés just said, well,
I
no,
can't do that.
I can't. I'm not going to sign that.
I'm sorry.
You changed. Like, we had this very pleasant conversation, and then I told you that. You're like, well, no.
It was because
because I'm crazy.
No.
I was going from easygoing to like, this is how we're gonna do things here now.
You must know I'm a ruler. And I'm like, how am I going to tell her that I can do that, but still for her to feel safe about it, you know? Because you were like, no, I'm not going to break anything, and I'm going to take everything and my money if it's okay.
Like, if it's okay. Like, if it wasn't okay, then I'm not going to.
Here in Mexico, for listeners, the deposit, sometimes you use it to pay the rent.
For your last month.
For your last month, you talk for it with your landlord. If you have damaged the house, well, the landlord will tell you, and it's, well,
and
you
then
get an arrange.
You run away and hide at your parents' house.
Yeah, and you run. But in this case, well, we talk about it, Chrissy and I.
Well, I started crying.
Yeah.
And afterwards, I'm like, wow. Poor Andrés, you basically already committed, because I started crying in that moment because I was like, oh my God, it's going to happen again. Like, in that moment, it felt like, well, yeah, it's going to happen again. Like, why did I end up in this situation again? Because at that point, I had already left stuff here, and I had already, like, half moved out. So I had already committed to the house before making that agreement. And now I felt like I didn't have a choice anymore. And like, I was just like, like, that's not the way I usually am. But because of the circumstances in my life at that moment, I was just like falling apart. Afterwards, I'm like, wow, you probably thought, oh my God, we should have taken the person who was running from someone instead.
No, well, think about it. No. It's because my objective also was for you to stay, because I really liked you from that first time.
With my old landlord, he already told me that he wouldn't give me back the deposit because, according to him, I had broken a contract that didn't exist.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to take the moral high road, and I'm going to pay the last month's rent even a day in advance.
Yeah.
So that's what I did, and I was going to be the morally
better person.
I was going to have the moral win.
Yeah.
But in the end, like,
the moral win isn't that way.
In the end, I decided, you know what, fuck it, and I sold his gas tank.
Yeah, because you must do that.
I think I found a good middle road.
Yeah, that's it. Sometimes it's cool just to let go of things. You know, they're just wrong, and they're not just that important. So you must go. I had some other experiences which, well, I got frustrated, and I've just learned that sometimes you make the right way. Sometimes with other people, you must do the not right way.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's gonna be not cool or wrong, and you must just get along with it, with the better face that you have, right?
Yeah.
So I've also, with you, when you came with the deposit issue, I was like, my objective was for you to stay in the house. So I've also was like, well, I can do that with the deposit, but we can still work it out, you know?
Yeah, but I did. So when you said you would, like, the only thing that would have made me feel at ease would have been if we had done the fridge thing.
Yeah.
So, like, I did not feel at ease. I just realized then, well, I've already committed to the house.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just decide to trust you guys, because that's my only option. And I'm going to it's still like so I'm gonna move out in about a month, but I'm not gonna use my deposit for the last month.
No, you must.
And I mean, I consider you a friend now. I don't know what you're gonna do. Like I'm assuming you'll give me the money back, but if you don't,
it's cool too.
No, it's not cool.
No.
But if you do give it back to me, we'll continue being friends after I've moved out. But if you don't give it back to me, we probably won't be friends because I'll be pissed.
Yeah, I know. And you're gonna sell my gas station.
Yeah. Oh, and there are 2 gas tanks.
Yeah. Ha! So you can.
They're even like. Like I sold the last one from the old house for 1,000 pesos. So if I sell the 2 that you have in this house, it'll be more. I like actually make a profit.
Yeah. You can do that.
I think like what I have learned from you in particular, and from conversations with you, you did give me another viewpoint on people and on living and interacting with people than I had. Like I feel like I have a broader view of the different ways people can be now than I used to have, and that's because of conversations with you.
Yeah.
I can't really put my finger on it.
Yeah.
But I feel like I know now that certain things that would be personal in Austria, for example, are not personal in Mexico.
No.
And that's just one facet.
There's people that you must know by hunch, not by words, not by a conversation. Like these things that they're like the body language that we talk, but the main message that the people are trying to reach at you, they're sometimes different than the ones that they're talking. So I think I get the idea.
And I'm very I'm a word person. Like I'm into words. I'm into writing and into talking. So I want the words to like be in line with the body language, but they're really not always.
Not always.
And in I guess also from my background culture, you're taught to like be true to your word. That is not the case in every culture.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean it's better or worse. It's just different.
Yeah.
One other thing that I found really interesting, because I feel like with you, I've had the most profound conversations from the people in the house. Because we talk more about personal stuff and philosophical things.
Yeah.
I realized that, for example, you're not the kind of person I usually select for my friends. That's because it's like a pattern in myself. Like you are very confident. You consider yourself very good looking.
Yeah.
And
yes, I am.
and you say so. Like I consider myself
guapo,
good looking too, but I'm very humble about it.
Yeah.
And I'm into humbleness. Like humbleness really turns me on. Super confident people don't usually do that for me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, usually if someone is very obviously very like, look at me, I'm looking good.
The vanity.
I'm like, yeah, good for you, but like, that kind of usually makes me less interested in talking with that person.
Yeah.
I think it's partly because I'm also confident about certain things about myself. For example, I'm really good at drawing shy people out of their shell.
Yeah.
And I like doing that. I really enjoy doing that. I like gaining someone's trust and helping them be more confident.
Yeah.
And I think because that's a strength of mine, I like being that person in a friendship or any other kind of relationship.
Okay.
And that role is not available in a friendship with you because you already have all that confidence. So there's nothing for me to draw out.
Yeah.
But I realized that I'm actually, I really enjoy talking to you. Yeah. I just don't think we would have gotten to that point of friendship and depth of conversation if we hadn't happened to be housemates.
I do. I do know that I'm confident and I told that.
And that's usually, I'm sure that's usually an advantage for you. That's usually what why all the ladies are kissing your toes.
Yeah.
Your feet.
Yes, because I'm the person that I'm a conversation opener, right? I do get you because with you, I've also had the same, like, how am I going to talk to her? Ironically, we just get along too well.
Yeah.
In this house because we also understood our ways.
Yeah. No, yeah, it felt really extremely easy to share.
Yeah.
It has felt really easy to share the floor with you, and yeah,
Also.
and it is nice to have people with different perspectives
Mm-hmm.
in your life because they give you more
Points of view,
yeah,
solutions, alternatives. Yeah.
And help you understand people in general. Like that is also something we do have in common, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We're interested in understanding the way people work.
Yeah. Because people are complicated.
Yeah, and it's fascinating.
Yeah, they're fascinating. The way treating people, it's like you must focus just on the person that you're talking to and not try to treat people like in general the same way.
Yeah. That's true.
Every people has its own way.
Maybe that is also something that you made me realize again. Like, it's very obvious, but sometimes I think I forget that. Sometimes I want to treat everyone as a trustworthy person because I want, deep inside myself, I want everyone to be trustworthy.
Yeah.
It's okay if not everyone is. And it's okay. It's okay to find out and then treat people according to whatever you find out about them. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think that's a good point to end. Thank you, our dear listener, for hanging in there with us. Thank you, Andrés, for talking to me.
Thank you to you.
If people want to find you online, if someone wants Andrés to bartend for them, shirtless,
here I am.
Where can they find you?
I have an Instagram. You can find me at herhis_man.
I'll put it in the show notes.
Yes, you can find me and you can direct message also. Answering and hope see you soon.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.